What if the only way to win is to stop playing, not play harder, not fight back, not beg, just exit the arena entirely? That's the paradox most men never understand. When she pulls away, when she starts acting cold, flaky, hot and cold like a light switch, your instinct is to chase, fix, and prove yourself. But what if I told you that's the trap? She wants to trigger your ego. She wants you emotional because the more emotional you get, the more power she has. The second you start asking why, you've already lost. The moment you start overthinking every text, stalking her socials, analyzing every little thing, you're not in control. You're her puppet. This isn't just about heartbreak. This is about reclaiming your masculine edge. Sir, she doesn't regret leaving the man who cried, begged, or over-explained. She regrets the man who didn't flinch, the one who didn't chase, the one who vanished, went silent, upgraded, and never looked back. That man haunts her. That's what we're here to build. This content isn't for the weak-hearted. It's for the man who's been burned and is done being a victim. It's for the one who's ready to embrace stoicism, dark psychology, and absolute emotional control. You want her to feel the loss? Then stop playing the game. Stop giving her the reaction she's baiting you for. This is where your detachment becomes your dominance. This is how you outplay her by no longer needing to win. If you're tired of feeling powerless, of wondering what went wrong, of begging for clarity, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I don't chase chaos, I become the calm. Now let's begin. Number 1. Stop reacting. Silence is the sharpest sword. She pulls back, delays her replies, and leaves you on read after you opened up. Every instinct in your body wants to respond, to ask what's wrong, to chase, to explain yourself. But here's the cold truth. The moment you react emotionally, she knows she owns your mind. The moment you try to fix it, she knows she's in control. That's how the game is played. She creates confusion and waits to see how much you'll break your own dignity to chase clarity. But when you say nothing, when you go ghost, when you stay silent, you move like she's irrelevant. You don't lose her respect, you earn it. Why? Because silence is dominance. When you say nothing, she starts hearing everything she was afraid of. Silence makes her imagine, doubt, obsess. Did she go too far? Is he done? Is he talking to someone better? That's the storm she can't escape when you leave her in the dark. Most guys overshare. They overspeak. They explain themselves to women who have no intention of listening. That's weakness, masquerading as vulnerability. But a man in control of his emotions who doesn't need to react to every trigger, that man is rare. That man is dangerous. That man is unforgettable. Silence doesn't mean you're afraid. It means you're above the nonsense. It means you're unbothered. It means you've mastered the first principle of power. Emotions are weapons. Use them wisely or don't use them at all. You want her to feel your value? Then don't shout it. Don't prove it. Just disappear for a while and let the weight of your absence do what your words never could. The strongest move isn't what you say, it's what you don't. Number 2, she wants you chasing. Don't be the entertainment. Have you ever noticed how she pulls away just when you start to get attached? How she suddenly becomes busy, distant, and unreadable right after you start showing real interest? That's not coincidence. That's strategy. She wants you chasing, not because she wants you, but because she wants the power that comes with being chased. You become her entertainment, her emotional amusement park. She pushes a button, you jump. She gives half attention, you give double effort. And every time you respond, you reinforce the game. Here's what most men don't get. Attention is a reward, not a right. Every text, every double tap, every just checking in tells her one thing. You haven't figured it out yet. You still think she's the prize, but you're not her savior. You're not her emotional babysitter. You're not her audience. You're the show. You're the one who needs to remember who you are. The man who chases loses value, not because he cares, but because he gives that care to someone who weaponizes it. When you stop chasing, when you pull your attention back, when you vanish from her feed and her phone, something happens. The game stops being fun for her. She's no longer in control. She's no longer the director. You just walked off set. And now the silence is deafening. She looks around and realizes the spotlight she lived under was yours all along. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about refusing to be baited. It's about reclaiming your time, your energy, your presence. When you stop chasing her, she's forced to chase herself. And that's where the mirror starts to hurt. She starts to wonder if you ever really needed her, or if maybe, just maybe, she was the lucky one to have your attention in the first place. Number 3, attraction isn't given, it's withdrawn. She was all over you in the beginning. Calls, compliments, late-night texts, the whole fantasy. You thought it was real, so you gave more time, more attention, more of yourself. But here's the brutal truth. Attraction doesn't die when you stop giving enough. It dies when you start giving too much to someone who hasn't earned it. She didn't lose interest because you lacked value. She lost interest because you made her the center of your universe. And that's not attractive, that's dependence. Attraction thrives in tension, in space, in mystery. But when you over-invest, you kill the polarity. You go from challenge to charity. The moment she feels like she's already won you over, the game is done. Whether she knows it consciously or not, she doesn't want a man who's desperate to be chosen. She wants a man who chooses himself first. Detachment isn't cruelty, it's clarity. You're not punishing her, you're protecting your value. You're saying, I know what I bring, and I'm not going to beg for someone to see it. When you withdraw your energy, not out of spite but out of self-respect, you shift the dynamic instantly. The pedestal collapses. She no longer feels entitled to your attention. Now you're the one she's thinking about, wondering why you stopped showing up, wondering who has your focus. Now remember, your attention is currency. Don't hand it out to someone who treats it like spare change. She doesn't need more from you. She needs less. Less access, less validation, less emotional labor. Because when you start giving her less, she starts realizing what she's actually missing. Number 4, mystery is power. Be unreadable. She can't stop thinking about the man she can't figure out. The one who doesn't explain himself, the one who doesn't overshare, the one who leaves gaps, spaces she has to fill in with her imagination. You want to drive her crazy? Don't tell her how you feel. Don't post your every move. Don't announce your silence. Just live quietly, calmly, strategically, and let her obsess over what she doesn't know. Here's the trap most guys fall into. They think being transparent means being strong, but overexposure kills attraction. When she knows your every thought, your every plan, your every weakness, there's no mystery left. And when there's no mystery, there's no tension. And when there's no tension, there's no pull. She already has you mapped out, and that makes you boring. But when you become unreadable, when your moves stop matching her expectations, when she can't tell if you're unbothered or just too focused on your purpose to care, now you become the one with gravity, the one she checks in on, the one she keeps tabs on without showing it. Because mystery forces her to imagine, and imagination is always more powerful than information. The man doesn't need to prove who he is. He shows it through presence, discipline, and control. He's not a ghost, but he's not predictable either. He appears with intention and disappears without explanation. That's how you stay in her head. not by flooding her inbox, but by letting your silence, your restraint and your unpredictability burn in her mind longer than any long-winded text ever could. Number 5. Kill the fantasy. See her without illusion. She wasn't an angel. She wasn't your soulmate. She wasn't different. That was your mind filling in the blanks, projecting what you wanted her to be onto who she actually was. That's how heartbreak hooks you. Not because of who she is, but because of who you imagined she could be. The version you loved. The version you loved. The furry. She wasn't a she weighs half her, half fantasy. And that fantasy is what keeps men stuck. Not the person, but the illusion. Here's the cold truth you need to face. She played games. She pulled you in, then pulled away. She gave you breadcrumbs and watched you starve. That's not love. That's manipulation. But your mind keeps looping the highlight reel. Those intense moments, the affection, the sparks. You're addicted to the feeling, not the reality. And until you break the illusion, you stay her prisoner. Stoicism demands brutal honesty. You must train yourself to see people as they are, not as you wish them to be. When you remove the pedestal, when you stop romanticizing the chaos, everything becomes clear. She wasn't consistent. She wasn't committed. She wanted attention, not connection. Once you see it plainly, there's no more pain, only understanding. You don't heal by rewriting the story. You heal by confronting it, by calling it what it was. When you strip away the fantasy, her power vanishes with it. She stops being some goddess who slipped through your fingers and becomes just another person who didn't deserve your energy. Number 6. Reverse the roles, make her earn. You've been the one proving yourself. Texting first, planning the dates, showing up with effort while she shows up with attitude. You've been auditioning for a role in a movie she's barely even filming. But that ends now. The dynamic flips the second you stop trying to win her and make her earn you. You are not a backup plan. You are not an option. You are not some side character in her story. You are the prize. The man who knows his worth doesn't chase approval. He sets the standard. Anyone who doesn't rise to meet it gets left behind. No drama, no explanation. When you flip the script, you shift the energy. She starts to notice the distance. She starts to wonder why you're no longer trying so hard. That confusion becomes curiosity, and curiosity turns into pursuit. Now she's texting first. Now she's wondering what you're doing, who you're with, why you stopped orbiting her world. The game she played, you just rewrote the rules. But here's the key, don't fake it. Don't play cold to manipulate. Become indifferent because you've seen the truth. You don't just act like you're the prize, you become it. Improve your body, build your focus, tighten your circle, elevate your lifestyle. Become so solid in who you are that the idea of begging for attention feels beneath you. Because the man who walks in purpose doesn't chase people, he attracts them. He lives by standards, not by feelings. And if she doesn't meet those standards, that's a loss, not yours. Number 7. Scarcity wins. Be less available. You were too accessible, too ready, too easy to reach. Every time she called, you picked up. Every time she went cold, you stayed warm. That kind of energy doesn't build attraction, it destroys it. Why? Because what's always available loses value, and what's rare gets chased. Scarcity is power. The less of you she gets, the more of you she wants. When you stop being her emotional safety net, when you stop waiting around for breadcrumbs, you force her to face the silence. And in that space, something shifts. She starts checking her phone more. She starts noticing your absence. She starts remembering how good it felt to have your energy and how empty it feels now that it's gone. Here's what most guys get wrong. They think being consistent means being constantly available, but those aren't the same thing. Being consistent is about integrity. Availability is about access. When she starts taking that access for granted, you must pull it back. No warnings, no speeches, just space. Space that makes her feel your absence more than your presence ever could. Your time is your currency. If you hand it out freely, it becomes worthless. But when you protect it, when you guard it, when you only give it to those who earn it, you become a high-value man. The high-value man doesn't need to say much. His absence screams everything. So stop showing up for someone who's unsure about you. Let your silence become a mirror. Let her feel what life is like without you constantly filling the gaps. When she realizes you're no longer orbiting her world, she'll start rotating around yours. Number 8. Upgrade in silence. Become the man she can't reach. The greatest revenge isn't rage, it's reinvention. Not loud, that's how you win. Not by proving her wrong, but by becoming the version of yourself she'll never get access to again. See, she expected you to fall apart. She expected the texts, the neediness, the breakdown. That's how the game usually plays out. But when you vanish and come back stronger, colder, sharper, unreachable, you flip the script. Now she's stalking your page. Now she's wondering who you've become. Now the man she thought she had figured out is gone, and in his place stands someone she never saw coming. Detachment means emotional mastery. You don't announce your glow-up. You don't need to flaunt your progress. You let your results speak in silence. New body, new habits, new purpose, new peace. And none of it is for her, it's all for you. Because this isn't about making her jealous. This is about making yourself unstoppable. Women remember the man who broke, but they regret the man who transformed without looking back. When you become that man, when your name starts to echo in rooms she's not invited to, that's the moment she realizes what she lost wasn't just attention. It was greatness in the making. Number 9. No closure needed. You are the closure. She left you hanging. No explanation, no goodbye, just silence. Now you're stuck rereading old messages, looking for clues, hoping for that one text to bring it all full circle. But here's the truth. Most men refuse to face. You don't need closure from her. You are the closure. Waiting for her to explain why she treated you like you didn't matter is a waste of power, because the act itself was the explanation. Her silence was the message. Closure is often just a last-ditch effort to feel in control. But Stoicism teaches this. The only thing in your control is your response, not her honesty, not her apology, not her accountability. So you don't chase answers. You create peace. You decide the story ends when you say it does. When you stop needing her words to validate your worth, you free yourself from her grip completely. Most women don't give closure because they want to leave the door cracked. So if she ever feels like wandering back in, she can. But when you stop standing at the door, when you stop checking for her shadow, you take away her comfort. You remove the option. Suddenly, the power shifts. The strongest men don't need to burn bridges. They just never cross them again. You want closure? Look in the mirror. Remind yourself who you are. Remind yourself that she lost you, not the other way around. You don't wait for the ending. You become the ending. Number 10. The final power move. Indifference over revenge. You think she deserves to feel what you felt, to know the pain she caused, to suffer the way you did. That's natural. But revenge is still a reaction. It's still emotion. The moment you make it about her again, she wins. The most devastating move you can make isn't revenge. It's indifference. It's not caring whether she regrets it or not. It's not watching her stories to see if she's hurting. It's living like she never mattered enough to break you. Indifference is not bitterness. It's freedom. It means you've healed to the point where her existence doesn't move you. Not in love, not in hate, not in curiosity. She becomes background noise in a world that's now centered on your purpose. She wanted you obsessed. She wanted you angry. She wanted you stuck in a loop of emotional chaos. But you gave her silence. You gave her detachment. And that hits harder than anything you could have said. When a woman realizes she no longer has emotional access to you, she starts to spiral because attention is her fuel. Your indifference is a blackout. She'll post, she'll text, she'll test you just to see if you'll crack. When you don't, when you remain unshaken, unreadable, unbothered, you become unforgettable. You weren't just a chapter. You were the lesson. This is the end game. Not becoming colder to punish her, but becoming stronger to protect yourself. You don't want her back. You don't want closure. You don't want revenge. You want peace. And that right there is the most haunting thing you can give someone who played games with your heart. You've heard it all now. The silence, the distance, the detachment, the shift. You came in heartbroken, confused, maybe even angry. But now you know the truth. You don't win by playing harder. You win by walking away stronger. That's the path. You don't react, you don't chase, you don't seek validation. You build, you evolve. You become the man she never thought you'd become. The man who no longer needs her, thinks about her, or gives her a second of emotional real estate. This isn't about hurting her. This is about honoring you. The moment you stopped making her the center of your universe, you started becoming the man you were always meant to be. Calm, focused, unshakable. That's real power. That's what makes her look back and realize she fumbled something rare. But by then, you've already moved on quietly, confidently, unapologetically. Don't go backward. Don't reopen doors that were closed for a reason. You've leveled up now. Walk like it. Speak like it. Live like it. Be the storm she never saw coming and the peace she can never disturb again.